We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We're on the LA Talk Live radio network. And our first guest today is Richard Walker, author of African American Healthy. He'll be calling in from Houston. But before Dr. Walker, an MD, calls in, I did want to mention some information. And the question was, Street Journal buried story. Here's the story at a glance. 2 virologists have filed a federal lawsuit against Merck, their former employer, alleging the vaccine maker lied about the effectiveness of their mumps vaccine. They claim they witnessed firsthand, this is a quote, the improper testing and data falsification in which Merck engaged to artificially inflate the vaccine's efficacy findings. The Wall Street Journal published the story on June 22, 2012. But within days, it was scrubbed from the internet. Was the story erased as a result of discussion at the Wall Street Journal's elite CFO network on June 25th, which includes Merck? Other censored vaccine news include the Italian Health Ministry conceding the MMR, that is measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, caused autism in a now 9-year-old boy, which was not covered by the U.S. media. And Chatham Primary Care has filed a federal antitrust lawsuit against Merck, alleging Merck went to great lengths manipulating test procedures and falsifying results to prop up fraudulent efficacy claims, thereby maintaining its monopoly on the MMR vaccine. Again, this is from Joseph Mercola. It was big news when court documents were unsealed, revealing a whistleblower lawsuit against drug giant Merck of fraud and lying about the true efficacy of its mumps vaccine. Just about every media, large and small, picked it up, and the world was abuzz about the hundreds of millions of dollars the lawsuit claimed Merck had defrauded from the U.S. government. The Wall Street Journal published the story in the form of a Dow Jones news release written by John Camp on June 22, 2012, and the links to the story began popping up on social media like Facebook. Then suddenly, the link to the story no longer worked, and if anyone clicked on the link in social media, it would show up, page not found. Apparently, the story had been pulled, and when search engines and internet archives wouldn't even show it, it looked as if it had never been published on the journal site at all. It was erased, nearly clean, except for a small stock watchers website called 4traders.com, which did a good job of erasing it from its main site, but didn't catch it in the cache. The question is, why did the Wall Street Journal pull the story and try to erase it as if it had never existed when there were actual court documents for evidence? Is it possible that an event that occurred on June 25th, 3 days after the story broke, could have influenced the story being pulled? On that day, the Wall Street Journal's elite network of CFOs from the world's top corporations met at the Wall Street Journal. Merck is on the executive council. The Joseph Mercola team attempted to connect with the Wall Street Journal on this issue, but as of this time, they have not received an answer as to why the article was pulled. Merck has been accused of falsifying efficacy studies and lying about effectiveness of mumps vaccine. Merck has actually been slapped with 2 class action lawsuits over their mumps vaccine, which is part of the trivalent measles, mumps, and rubella, so-called MMR vaccine. The first, which was initially filed in 2010, was unsealed late last month. 2 former Merck virologists, Stephen Crawling and Joan, if I pronounce this correctly, Woloksky, claim they witnessed firsthand the improper testing and falsification of data which was done to hide the fact that the vaccine has significantly declined in effectiveness. By artificially inflating the efficacy, Merck was able to maintain its monopoly over the mumps vaccine market, and that is the main point of contention of the second class action lawsuit filed by Chatham Primary Care. According to Courthouse News Service, quote, Merck has known for a decade that its mumps vaccine is far less effective, that's in quotes, than it tells the government, and it falsified test results and sold millions of doses of, quote, questionable efficacy, flooding and monopolizing the market. Chatham says in its antitrust complaint that Merck falsely claims its mumps vaccine is 95% effective. That claim deterred and excluded competing manufacturers who would enter the risky and expensive vaccine market only if they believed they could craft a better product. Merck is the only manufacturer licensed by the FDA to sell the mumps vaccine in the United States, and if it could not show that the vaccine was 95% effective, it risked losing its lucrative monopoly. That is why Merck found it critically important to keep claiming such a high efficacy rate, the complaint states. And Chatham claims that's why Merck went to great lengths, including, quote, manipulating its test procedures and falsifying the test results to prop up the bogus figure, though it knew that the attenuated virus from which it created the vaccine had been altered over the years during the manufacturing process, and that the quality of the vaccine has degraded as a result. How Merck faked and manipulated vaccine trials to achieve desired results. According to these 2 lawsuits, Merck began a sham testing program in the late 1990s to hide the declining efficacy of the vaccine. The objective of the fraudulent trials was, quote, to report efficacy of 95% or higher, regardless of the vaccine's true efficacy. According to Crowling's complaint, they were threatened with jail were they to alert the FDA to the fraud being committed. The sham testing program was initially referred to as Protocol, if you can believe this, Protocol 007, the Chatham antitrust claim states. Suzanne Humphreys recently wrote an excellent summary for greenmediainfo.com explaining in layman's terms how the tests were manipulated. Here's a brief extract. For the new testing method, the children's blood was tested for its ability to neutralize the virus using the vaccine strain virus, instead of the wild-type strain, which is much more infective, and the one that your children would most likely catch. But still, it was not 95% effective. In order to make the blood pass the test, antibodies from rabbits were added. The addition of rabbit antibody increased the efficacy to 100%. But that was not the end, because the test has to be done on pre-vaccine blood and post-vaccine blood. Just the addition of rabbit antibody made the pre-vaccine blood go up 10% positive to 80% positive, and that was such an obvious sign of foul play that yet another manipulation had to be made. The desired end result is to have very low pre-vaccine antibody and 95% or more post-vaccine efficacy as measured by antibody neutralization. So yet one more change in procedure was made. The pre-vaccine tests were all redone. according to the Merck scientists. They did this by fabricating the plaque counts on the pre-vaccine blood samples, counting plaques that were not there. What this allowed was a mathematical dilution of the pre-vaccine positive blood counts. This is a perfect example of how medical research can be manipulated to achieve desired results, and why it may be wise to question vaccine makers' study results. Clearly, there needs to be a truly independent review in the mix. As reported by the Courthouse News Service, quote, Chatham claims that the falsification of test results occurred with the knowledge, authority, and approval of Merck's senior management. While I do not advocate indiscriminately abstaining from all vaccines, I would strongly encourage you to exercise a major dose of due diligence, as vaccines can cause serious reactions that can have devastating consequences. I believe in informed consent and the freedom to choose. There can be little doubt anymore that drug companies are in it for the profits, and virtually no price seems too high for them when it comes to protecting their profit-making. Forbes magazine quoted a Merck spokesman saying, "Nothing is more important to Merck than the safety and effectiveness of our vaccines and medicines and the people who use them." The question then is, if that's really so, why did they heavily promote Vioxx and keep it on the market until it had killed more than 60,000 people? Joseph Marcola warned his readers that this painkiller might be a real killer for some people 5 years before Merck made its $30 billion recall. Merck made a $30 billion recall. 5 years they let it go, and they undoubtedly would have kept it on the market longer had the lethal dangers not become so shockingly obvious to other science. That was Vioxx. After Vioxx came the HPV vaccine Gardasil, perhaps the most unnecessary vaccine ever created, and likely one of the most dangerous. Merck claims their main concern is safety, yet ever since Gardasil's approval in 2006, reports of life-altering side effects and sudden deaths of otherwise healthy teenagers have jumped to the thousands, and Merck has steadfastly refused to acknowledge or address these health risks. Gardasil appears to have one of the highest risk-to-benefit ratios of any vaccine on the market, and India halted Merck's post-licensing trials of the vaccine after 4 young participants died. Yet Merck had the gall to claim that nothing is more important to them than safety. Merck has a long paper trail of litigation highlighting the company's questionable ethics. These two lawsuits, couldn't come at a more precarious time for Merck, as the Italian Health Ministry recently conceded that the MMR vaccine caused autism in a now 9-year-old boy. As a result, a court in Rimini, that's Rimini in Italy, has awarded the family of a 15-year-old annuity totaling 174,000 euros, just under $220,000, plus reimbursement for court costs, ruling that the boy has been damaged by irreversible complications due to vaccination prophylaxis trivalent MMR. According to the Daily Mail, a British paper, Judge Lucio Ardigo awarded compensation to the family, said it was conclusively established that Valentino had suffered from an autistic disorder associated with medium cognitive delay, and his illness, as Dr. Barboni states, was linked to receiving the jab. The lawyer explained yesterday, this is a very significant for Britain, which uses and has used an MMR vaccine with the same components as the one given to Valentino, the young boy. It is wrong for governments and their health authorities to exert strong pressure on parents to take children for an MMR jab while ignoring that this vaccine can cause autism and linked conditions. Claudio Simone, a leading member of the lobby group the group Association for Freedom of Choice in Vaccination. Let me read that again. Association for Freedom of Choice in Vaccination adds, the Rimini judgment is vitally important for children everywhere. The numbers with autism are growing. It is a terrible thing that the authorities turn a blind eye to the connection between MMR vaccination and this illness. This vaccine news story was not picked up by a single U.S. media outlet when it happened. Why? Could it be because the U.S. government, which is brimming with industry individuals, is very much concerned about protecting the vaccination program? Not because it's a marvelous panacea that promotes optimal good health and longevity, but because it is a major profit center, both for the vaccine makers and for those whose pockets are lined with big pharma bribes. This is Josh Lane. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. We'll be right back.
Bottled at the source since 1871, Mountain Valley Water is the deepest operating spring in America. This naturally alkaline water, with a perfect blend of minerals, has a crisp, clean taste that's twice been named best tasting water in the world. Mountain Valley Water has been served in the White House for 13 presidents, but it's also served kings including Elvis Presley, whose only requirement on tour was 2 6-packs of Mountain Valley Water. Delivered to your home or office in glass bottles, Mountain Valley Water will give new customers in Southern California their first 2 5-gallon bottles free. For more information, call 1-800-499-9982 or visit us online at www.mountainvalleywaterla.com. Mountain Valley Water is the official sponsor of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane on LA Talk Live.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane, and we have calling in Dr. Richard Walker, MD, author of African American Healthy. Dr. Walker, are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon. How are you?
Dr. Walker, thank you for calling, and thank you for holding on the line. I have your brand new book published by Square One Publishers, speaking about African American health issues, and I read it. It's a very nicely done book, and is there anything that you'd like to start out with as the single most important distinction about African Americans which they need to address?
Well, yeah. I mean, right off the bat, one of the most important things, and let me preface what I'm going to say by stating that this is not just for African Americans.
Right.
This is for all Americans. However, African Americans suffer the greatest consequence of vitamin D3 deficiency.
Uh-huh.
As you probably know, as it reads in the book, African Americans die anywhere between our mortality is anywhere between 2 to 5 times that of the general population. When you consider conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, and end-stage renal failure, it is pretty much 2 to 5 times across the board for African Americans than anyone else. And the cause and effect relationship is directly related to a deficiency in vitamin D3.
Is that deficiency as a result of not eating enough fresh fish or not getting enough sunshine? What do you think is the origin?
The origin is because of the pigment in the skin.
Okay.
And that pigment in the skin blocks the absorption of UVB rays that converts the inactive vitamin D to the active vitamin D3. For people who are not African American, if they wear skin sunscreen, it has the same effect as being dark skin.
I see. And so you suggest that the African American community in America use D3 supplementation? Is that your recommendation?
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's no other way. And let's just talk about people in general. 70% of people in the United States are vitamin D3 deficient.
Mm-hmm.
That's 70. Yes. 97% of all African Americans are vitamin D3 deficient. The reason for this is that people wear sunscreen, African Americans have dark skin, and both groups don't spend time outside. We go inside. We're indoors most of the time, so we're not getting the full complement of sunshine that does the conversion from the D to the D3.
I see. Well, that 97% is an awfully big percentage of the population.
Well, we might as well say 100% of the people of African Americans are vitamin D3 deficient. That said, there's a direct correlation that with a deficiency in vitamin D3, there is higher hypertension. There's much greater hypertension. The consequences of hypertension are greater. There's far more diabetes, as well as stroke, heart attack, and end-stage renal failure, all related to a deficiency in vitamin D3.
Wow. And are you lecturing widely on this problem with the lack of D3?
Yeah. We're doing a lot of radio, such as your program. We are going into a lot of churches. I lecture around the country in trying to get the message out. Now, I was listening to your report before we got on the air.
Yes.
And it's very interesting that here you have a simple vitamin that can do so much in terms of advancing the well-being of people, but yet you hear very little about it from the healthcare community. Now, they are beginning to plug into deficiencies in vitamin D3, but you don't hear it across the board. And, there's one astonishing fact. If you take vitamin D3, for example, women who are deficient in vitamin D3 have a much higher incidence of breast cancer.
Uh-huh.
If you give women vitamin D3 to an adequate amount to where it's, the blood level is greater than 50 nanograms per mil, greater than that in the blood, you don't find any breast cancer.
Wow, that's an important statement.
Yeah, and that's across the board. Now,
and you're saying that you're saying that vitamin D is a very inexpensive, very safe supplement, and you're surprised that it's not being more widely promoted. Is that it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if evidence shows and epidemiologic studies show that vitamin D3 supplementation, if you take adequate amounts of vitamin D3, or when they look into populations where the women have adequate amounts of vitamin D3 and there's no breast cancer, how come that's not being reported on national news?
Yes, I don't have an answer for you, but it does seem problematic.
Yeah, and let's take the same kind of approach. The number one killer of African American men. When I was speaking about breast cancer, I'm talking about all women.
Yes.
If we take African American men, the number one cancer killer of African American men is prostate cancer.
Yes.
Well, the same information applies to prostate cancer. adequate levels of vitamin D3 in the blood, you will not find prostate cancer. So again,
Wow.
there is no voice out there, which is the reason why I wrote the book, and a lot of other people are beginning to write books on vitamin D3. There's no voice out there in the African American community that's saying, here's a simple solution.
Wow. Wow, doesn't you stated so very clearly that it is actually it's remarkable that it's not being addressed. Have you mentioned this to any public health officials?
Well, I think you know the results of doing that. Unless the public health official has the wherewithal to take this kind of information and to plug it into their formula for the government entity that they are affiliated with, it's not going anywhere. It's like, oh, yeah, well, that's interesting. Well,
Right.
if you're a public health official and your job is public health, why wouldn't you put this out and broadcast it?
Dr. Walker, normally I hate to appear so inept on the radio. I'm starting to sound like a little bit like Larry King. It's just shocking what you say is so clear and makes so much sense to me. I don't want to go in any way to defend the public health service. I don't want to appear that I'm defending them at all. But it's just amazing that something as simple as this and something as important as this is not more widely broadcast. After all, it's inexpensive as a therapy to heal patients. Isn't that the job of the public health service?
It is, but, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
No, you don't sound like you are. No.
I'm basically just a reporter. The fact is, and I think we know what the underlying root cause is, there's so much money involved in all of these treatment modalities that if you begin to eliminate that particular disease, what will it do to an industry?
Well, I kind of agree with you. It's a shame that it's really it's so simple, but actually, I completely agree with you, and I also am not a conspiracy theorist. And the nice thing about paranoia, remember, you're never alone. One of my favorite jokes. But actually, no, I completely agree with you, Dr. Walker. I completely agree with you. Dr. Walker, how can people contact you? What is your web address?
Well, they can get the best way to contact me is through the publisher, Square One Publishers. They can buy the book either at Square One or they can get the book on Amazon.com. Either way, it would get to me.
Okay, very good. Dr. Walker, we'll take a short break. You'll be right back after these messages. Thanks for holding on.
Brooksy, maker of fine laptop apparel, laptop covers and sleeves, iPhone covers, and unique home decor. Brooksy laptop sleeves are made to order and can be custom made to fit your computer. Just send a message with your order telling us the model and the dimensions of your laptop, and we'll make you your very own sleeve in whichever design you choose. Any of the pillow designs can be turned into laptop sleeves too. Remember, Brooksy for all your computer embellishment needs. You can find Brooksy at www.brooksy.com. That's BROKESY.com. And remember to tell them that you heard it here on LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's Miss R&B, and I'm inviting you to come and hang with me every Thursday night at 9 p.m. PST for Perspectives Corner with Rona Roe Bennett on America Talk Live. Hear and see interviews and live performances from some of our favorite celebrities and personalities in entertainment, sports, business, and the wellness industries. We're getting lifted and we're going deep, talking about life and empowering the champion in us all. See you there.
Hi, this is Olden Polynice, retired NBA player, inviting you to join me for my show, The O Zone, Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am going to be talking about basketball, baseball, hockey, football, you name the sport, we're going to talk about it and dig deep. The O Zone is where the truth lives. So don't forget to tune into the O Zone with Olden Polynice, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. That's the O Zone with Olden Polynice every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back with Dr. Richard Walker, MD, Richard Walker Jr., MD, a graduate of the Albert Einstein School of Medicine in New York. And Dr. Walker has an excellent new book called African American Health, which was published just recently by Square One Publishers. Dr. Walker, are you there?
I'm here, yes.
Dr. Walker, we've talked about vitamin D, and there's been a lot of discussion recently about the problems associated with processed sugar in the form of sodas and candy, etc. And you mentioned it in the book. Can you please mention the perspective of sugar in the African American community?
Oh, gee whiz. Well, this is a huge problem. First of all, let me mention that the African American community, as just about everybody knows, but I'll state it anyway, is not a homogeneous community.
Right.
It's a heterogeneous community in terms of economic strata, in terms of various cultural things that we get involved in. It's all across the board. And the reason why I preface that is that not everyone fits into the category specifically as I'm going to address. But that said, in general, the African American community is a community that is confronted with high carbohydrate intake every day, all day, from birth.
Yes.
And the less income, and again, this is not just for African Americans. This really applies to almost any ethnicity. Mm-hmm. The lower the income, the higher the carbohydrate intake, because you're not going to get the vegetables, the fruits, all the other kinds of varied foods that you need to have a well-balanced meal. In the lower socioeconomic groups, which is predominantly Latino and African American, you're going to find that most of the time they're going to go to the bodegas, they're going to go to a little corner store in order to purchase. You're not going to have the large supermarkets that have the well-balanced nutritional foods available. When that is the case, and you do that from birth, all you're going to be exposed to, or predominantly what you're going to be exposed to, are simple carbs. The simple carbs over a lifetime are absolutely devastating to most of what happens to us. Number one, you're looking at high rates of type 2 diabetes, and one of the things that the listening audience may not be aware of is what's called glycation end products. That is a formulation or the combination of sugars binding with proteins that form glycation end products. What that does, it speeds up the aging process throughout the body, especially in the brain and the skin. And what happens, if we take the brain, basically what happens is the brain starts forming these useless proteins that can't work, and you begin to lose space in the brain where you're supposed to have neurons. What does that do? It increases the speed of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Uh-huh. When you take these kinds of things and you couple them with other conditions such as stress and so on, that produces high cortisol levels, that is a formula for really poor health.
And Dr. Walker, you're commenting now on simple carbohydrates such as soda and candy and cake as being problematic.
Oh yes. We're generally not talking about in the lower socioeconomic groups, in the African American, Latino communities. When we talk about carbohydrates, we're really not talking about cabbage and broccoli and Brussels sprouts.
Right.
We're talking about all those other things that they shouldn't be eating or drinking. Soda is a huge problem.
Yes.
Soda comes into the diet early on when we're kids.
Yes.
And it remains a major food source with empty calories, high in carbohydrates, high in phosphates and carbonate, and none of which in high doses is any good.
Now, this discussion about problems associated with what Jack LaLanne calls soda pop, since Mayor Bloomberg commented on this several months ago, it has been part of the national dialogue. And do you feel that people are now much more alert than they were 5 years ago to this issue?
Well, that's difficult to say. I would like to say yes. I'm not certain that is true, simply because of the fact that when you look at the consumption of soda pop, it is still off the chart. And people have not yet realized what they are doing to their body. On the other hand, I also disagree with the fact that you're going to have a government official try to mandate what I can eat or drink.
Yes. Well, yeah. I guess that is another area that's problematic. If you could design a diet that is what people eat for the African American community and for every other American who wants to be healthy, what would we have for breakfast?
Well, let me just give a broad stroke to that.
Yes.
It has been identified, researchers have identified that the single greatest way to eat across the board for anyone, it would be a Mediterranean-style type of nutrition.
And what exactly is that? What is that, sir?
Well, you would be eating a lot of vegetables. You're eating a lot of lean meats, a lot of fish. You're eating a lot of legumes, and all of these things that when you mix them, you've got a very nutritious diet. It's okay to have some of the things that we desire. It's okay to have some ice cream, and it's okay to have some of the things that we like, but that has to be relatively infrequent. Let me give you an example. When I put patients on a quote diet unquote, and I generally don't like to speak about diet in my practice. When I tell people, okay, you need to go on a diet, I'm not talking about a diet where I tell people, okay, don't eat this, don't eat that, count your calories, etc.
Yes.
Basically, what I tell them is, I want you to eliminate all white foods from your nutrition.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? White rice, white potatoes, white bread, white sugar, and white pasta. And they're stunned when they hear that. I said, well, don't panic. A substitute for white rice is brown.
Yes.
A substitute for a white potato is a sweet potato, a yam. Substitute for white pasta is green or brown pasta, green being made out of spinach, brown being made out of whole wheat. A substitute for white bread is Ezekiel bread or a 7-grain bread. And a substitute for sugar, white sugar, is no sugar at all, such as white sugar, brown sugar, honey, or artificial sweeteners. None. The substitute would be stevia or truvia, which are also used by diabetics. Now, why do I advise that? I advise that for a simple reason. All the white foods cause a rapid increase in the insulin level, a hormone which regulates and moderates how your body utilizes carbohydrates. we consume these white foods or foods that contain white foods, such as sugar, like candy,
Yes.
what that does is it causes the insulin level to go very high, and that changes the signaling in the body to the cell and tells the cell, store fat. When the insulin level is low, it signals the cell to burn fat. So a lot of people wonder, why are they so fat? Or why are they gaining so much weight? It's because of the entire life cycle of what they've been consuming in terms of foods that don't benefit them. Now, if they were simply to change to the kind of foods that I advise, you get off the white foods, that's just part of it. If they were to change to foods like that, then what you would find is that if they would then add on to have 6 meals throughout the day, all of which contain protein, along with what I just advised, they will be amazed at how much weight they will lose and not be hungry.
Right. So Dr. Walker, you're saying that people will lose weight and not be hungry if they avoid eating white sugar, and that the reason for their overweight is not their genetics, it's their lifestyle choices as it relates to food.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. And
yes.
And you have a lot of experience working with patients as far as teaching them these ideas, and the success rate is great. Is that it?
Oh, yes. And that's also in the book. I mentioned these things. Now, let's go back to vitamin D3.
Yes.
One of the things that's important about vitamin D3 again is that when you add vitamin D3 to the mix, there are 2 other hormones, especially in African Americans, but again with all Americans, 2 other hormones that are directly affected by vitamin D3 deficiency, and that is ghrelin and leptin. And so that I don't get into the weeds of these hormones, both of these hormones affect your appetite. Uh-huh. And so with a deficiency in vitamin D3, it decreases the body's effect on recognizing when you're full. When you take vitamin D3 has an effect on ghrelin, which has an effect on leptin, and it begins to alter the signaling mechanism so that your body now recognizes, hey, I'm full, I have enough. And that begins to supplement what I'm telling people about their nutrition. And if they were to do that, earlier I said 6 meals. I actually meant 6 portions. And when I'm talking about 6 portions, I'm talking about a breakfast. And I don't care if people have bacon and eggs. A lot of people say, well, don't eat the yolk. And eat the yolk, eat the protein. It's not those things. It's not the yolk that causes the problem. It's the fact that you're eating unchallenged carbohydrates. Now, what protein does, and the 6 portions do, that's breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. What those portions do, when you add protein to each one, protein is one of the few things that will turn the insulin pump off. The insulin is produced by an organ in the body called pancreas, the beta cells coming from the pancreas, and protein stops those cells from producing or overproducing the amount of insulin. And you can literally turn the high insulin production off. When you turn that off, you change the signaling in the body so that the body now says, okay, I have blood sugar, I'm full, and consequently, you will start to lose weight.
Okay. Dr. Walker, that was very clearly stated. I would like to thank you, Dr. Richard Walker, for being a guest today on Here's to Your Health. The book is called African American Healthy, from Square One Publishers, just recently published. And Dr. Walker, sir, I hope to have you on my show again very shortly. You've been listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule, once a day, is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane. And on this segment, I'm happy to say that Mike from Manitoba Harvest, the founder of Manitoba Harvest, which is a hemp seed and oil company, manufacturers in Canada where they grow hemp, will be calling in shortly to talk about the quality of the new and popular products, hemp protein and hemp oil, which are sold widely in the natural food stores and grocery stores in the United States and Canada. Hi, Mike?
Yes.
Mike, hi. Thanks for calling in. I'm sorry for the little delay. And you're on Here's to Your Health. And can you please tell us what exactly is hemp protein?
Well, hemp protein, if I back up, hemp is an oilseed crop produced here in Canada, and it's very rich in protein and essential fatty acids. And so we cold press that seed to remove some of the oil, and then the seed cake or the meal, we mill that down and we make a couple different kinds of hemp protein powders. Hemp protein is prized because it's a very easy to digest protein. So it's great mixing into a smoothie or a shake or even into hot cereal or yogurt. We make 3 different kinds of hemp protein powder.
And the hemp protein powder is used as for athletes or for school kids, or who's using the hemp protein powder?
Young and old. So we do have some athletes that really enjoy the products, but we also have moms that are making healthy smoothies for their families, really enjoying the benefits of hemp protein as well. And the 3 types of hemp protein that we have, Hemp Pro Fiber, Hemp Pro 50, and Hemp Pro 70, each have their different uses. And so we find that depending on the individual, that they'll enjoy one of the 3 protein powders.
And what are the differences?
Well, Hemp Pro Fiber is not only giving you a good source of protein, but it's also very rich in fiber, and that's coming naturally from the bran of the hemp seed. For Hemp Pro 50, we've sifted out some of that fiber, so you up the protein concentration to 50% which is both Hemp Pro Fiber and Hemp Pro 50 are raw whole food products, and Hemp Pro 70 is the world's first hemp protein concentrate. So it's a spray dried product. So you're going to get the most protein per serving, and it's also soluble, so you could shake it up in water or juice.
I see. And on your use of hemp, which is, I guess, relatively new in the United States in the natural food stores, was this product available 10 years ago?
It was just becoming available 10 years ago, yes. So we lobbied the government, Manitoba Harvest as a team, we lobbied the government to legalize hemp back in the mid-1990s, and we were successful at getting the Canadian government to change the law back in 1998. So 1998 was the first year that hemp was commercially available, and we started to bring those products down into the U.S. in about 2000 and 2001.
But first you did the political work to get the Canadian government to okay it, and what was the reason for the opposition? Why was it not legal before?
Well, hemp and marijuana are both in the cannabis family of plants, but hemp doesn't contain any of the psychoactive drugs. So it was really back in the day there was confusion between the two, and that's why hemp was outlawed for growing. But very much like in the U.S., hemp has been legal to sell and consume as a product for many years, and we're also trying to work with the industry in the U.S., the hemp industry in the U.S., to get the laws changed so that U.S. farmers can grow hemp, because it's a very valuable crop to grow.
Yes, and so you were actually influential and instrumental in having it become legal in Canada and now and its acceptance in the United States.
Correct. Yeah, and we're now trying to, as I said, trying to get hemp legal to be able to be grown in the U.S. and we've been celebrating Hemp History Week for the last 3 years, and it happened in June of this year, and the real focus around that is to educate the U.S. consumers that the U.S. has a rich history of hemp. You know, the founding fathers of the U.S. grew hemp and enjoyed its benefits, using the fiber to make clothing and other materials, and use the oil and the seed for food, and it's also a good fuel source as well. So we're trying to get that message out to people, because a lot of people don't know of the valuable benefits of hemp.
And is your target audience now the vegan athlete, etc., using the hemp protein? I mean, who is using hemp protein as opposed to, say, a brown rice protein, or, for example, a whey protein, which is not vegetarian? So, what's the difference?
Yeah, well, you know, there's a number of different consumer segments that all go towards hemp because of its benefit. You know, definitely people that are vegetarian or vegan, because they aren't using whey protein or animal products. They're a good fit for hemp. But we also find people that are whether themselves or their children have sensitivity to allergies. And because hemp doesn't have any allergies, but if you look at a vegetable source that is commonly used is soy, but now soy is on one of the top 10 allergen lists. Mm-hmm. So we get people coming to hemp because they want a cleaner diet, or they want to avoid allergens. And then we do have, as you mentioned, we do have some athletes and people that are really putting their body, put a lot of performance to their body that see the benefits of hemp foods as well, because of, and it's not only the protein, but hemp is one of the richest sources of the essential fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6.
Yes, I do notice that a number of elite triathletes and cyclists are actually using hemp protein, and also, I guess, a vegan lifestyle, and they feel that this has been very good to improve their athletic performance.
Yeah, and it's really good to for the repair and recovery, and whether you're an athlete or you're just an individual, when you put your body to stress, the most important thing that your food can do for you is to speed up that recovery time. And so a lot of athletes they live and breathe that, because if they can't train and then repair and then train again, then they're not going to be able to be an expert in their sport. But if you look at also a lot of people that have dietary concerns, and they're trying to change their health around, whether it's losing weight or just getting more energy, or there's an allergy that they're trying to get away from. hemp foods, because they're very, very light and easy to digest, and also because of the essential fatty acids, can be very beneficial. And in my case in point, I used to weigh 300 pounds and lost over 100 pounds, and that's how I ended up getting into this business.
Wow. So you came to realize that what you eat is very important, and you modified your lifestyle. Was that it?
Yeah, there's a full lifestyle change, going away from any kind of fast food and even down to processed foods. Reading labels and reading ingredients, and my simple rule is if you can't pronounce or understand what the ingredient is in a food, you likely shouldn't be eating it.
Right.
So the lifestyle went to more wholesome foods and more whole foods, which hemp hearts and hemp protein and hemp oil play really, really well into that type of lifestyle, and so it's quite simple, making smoothies, making delicious salads, and eating foods that give you energy instead of taking your energy away.
And Mike, where can people purchase these Manitoba Harvest hemp products?
Our products are available all over the U.S. And so in health food stores like Whole Foods, but also in more and more grocery stores, and so you'll find Manitoba Harvest products are widely available, and for those that are maybe not in a major center where they have good options for stores to go purchase, you can also order directly on our website at manitobaharvest.com.
Could you give us that once again?
Yep, our website is manitobaharvest.com.
And I have a question about the hemp oil, which you use, in salad? Is that how you mostly like to recommend it?
Yep. Yeah, delicious as a salad oil mixed 1 part hemp oil with 1 part lemon juice or vinegar makes a great salad dressing.
I see.
But you can also use it in replacement of butter, and because hemp oil has a really nice nutty flavor, similar to almost like a sunflower seed.
Uh-huh.
And so it's delicious putting it onto toast or putting it onto steamed veggies or rice or other grains. You just don't want to heat the hemp oil too hot because of the essential fatty acids. You want to protect it. So if you're putting it into hot food, you want to add it after you turn the heat off.
I got you.
As more of a finishing oil.
I got you. We've been chatting with Mike from Manitoba Harvest. Excellent hemp products. Mike, thank you for being a guest on Here's to Your Health. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages. Jerry?
My name is Jade Davis. Not only am I a Loyola Law student and advocate for the youth of today, but I'm a contestant in the Miss California USA pageant. My pageant platform is built around advocating for abused and neglected youth. And as a contestant in the pageant, I hope to make the community aware of how we can help. I'm asking that people please donate to my campaign to help fund my pageant needs. Donations can be made at GoFundMe.com/JDavis for Miss CA USA 2013. Even if you're unable to donate, please show support by liking the page, Facebook.com/JDavis for Miss CA USA 2013. Thank you.
Journey Sisters is an organization that embodies and captivates women from all walks of life. Our membership includes 44 women that are constantly growing in the areas of personal development and community involvement. Monthly, we offer free leadership classes at McKay's Restaurant. Journey aims to inform women in the areas of heart disease and HIV and AIDS. Experience the journey now by logging into www.journeymosaicinc.com. Toll free 888-906-5519. Journey with no excuses.
Hey, are you spending your time or are you wasting your time? Well, kill some time hanging out with Michael Collier, Brooks Jackson, and the whole crew at the Michael Collier Morning Show. I Get Up Late. That's every Tuesday, 3 until 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you don't know what that is, you better get on the internet and look it up. And while you're there, go to latalklive.com and check me out.
Hi, this is Elena, inviting you to join me every Wednesday at noon for Elena's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Since 1871, Mountain Valley Spring Water has been bottled at the source in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Twice named the best tasting water in the world, Mountain Valley Water has served presidents, celebrities, and customers from coast to coast. Mountain Valley Water is naturally alkaline and bottled in glass, providing the perfect blend of nature's minerals for a crisp, clean taste. To start your home and office delivery in Southern California, call 1-800-499-9982. That's 800-499-9982. Or visit them online at www.mountainvalleywaterla.com. That's www.mountainvalleywaterla.com. All new customers will receive their first 2 5-gallon bottles absolutely free. Mountain Valley Water, the official hydrators of LA Talk Live and proud sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back, and we're back with Jeremy, who is the president. Are you the president?
I'm the director of sales.
Director of sales.
And the patent holder.
Oh, and the patent holder. That's good, too. Jeremy, you close to the microphone? Very good. Sure. Okay, so this is a new technology, and this is a new technology for me. And Jeremy, tell me, what is this technology?
Sure. This is a technology that was 8 years in development. It looks like clay, feels like clay, but it actually gives off a form of energy that increases blood circulation dramatically. So we have a touchstone, which looks like a clay ball.
Are we getting this on camera? A little clay ball here. Okay, yes.
And it just feels like a stone.
It does.
Doesn't feel like there's anything to it.
Looks kind of nice, yeah.
But when you hold it in your hand, it's going to increase blood circulation as if it were hot. And there are benefits to this. There's no chance of burning the tissue. You can hold on to it 24 hours a day, and it's simply wonderful for hand therapy, for as a stress reliever, and so on.
And is this something from NASA? Where was this developed?
No, this was actually my background is in product management in medical devices, and the clay was actually used for another application, but its frequency was a frequency that we knew had benefits in medicine.
So we're talking about frequency medicine now, which is becoming reasonably widely used, is it not?
That's right. That's right. It is. And there are a lot of benefits to particular frequencies. The interesting thing about our material is that in order to get a useful frequency, much of the time you need high temperature or electricity to do it. Ours will emit a frequency at very, very low temperature, at body temperature. Mm-hmm. So you can simply hold on to it and you see benefits from it. I think that our product line is the only energy medicine product line to actually get through the FDA registration process. All of our products are actually registered with the FDA.
So your products are registered with the FDA, so you can make specific suggestions about how the product is used then?
Absolutely, sure. We can talk about pain relief. We can talk about reduction of swelling. We can talk about helping with arthritis.
Okay, let's talk about pain relief. Obviously, a lot of athletes have pain relief, pain. People have pain. So how can this Zeta Technologies be used for pain?
Well, we have different products for different applications. We make a disc that's about the size of an old-fashioned silver dollar.
Let me see that disc. Okay.
And you would simply put it where it hurts. And by simply placing it where it hurts, it'll increase blood circulation where you put it. If you put it here on your wrist, it doesn't help in your elbow. It's designed for precise applications.
I see.
They do other strange things too. If you were to tape it onto a bruise with medical tape or slip it under an ace bandage and go to bed, the next morning the bruise will actually be flushed out. It'll increase blood circulation that well. It's that visible.
And okay, you call it Zeta Technology, and this is again frequency medicine.
It's frequency medicine.
May I ask, without, I guess, are any sports teams using this?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know that there are a number of coaches that have requested the products. I don't know if they're actually in use by the teams at this point.
Is this Zeta Technologies? Is this very new?
It's very new. We got our FDA registration done about 4 months ago. We launched at the Natural Product Expo West. We launched at the Natural Product Expo West. We actually received several nominations for Best Product at the show, which is
that's nice.
It's nice, and for us, it was a big thing. There were 4,000 exhibitors and 60,000 products, and for us to receive numerous nominations for Best Product, it was a very big thing for us.
Okay, can I go back to then, in case any listeners are just tuning in now, we're speaking with Jeremy from Zeta Technologies about an energy frequency medical device. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
And what exactly is energy frequency again?
Energy frequency, it's basically a frequency. Frequencies are all around us. We live in a world of frequencies.
What do you mean? Tell me. I don't know.
There's an electromagnetic spectrum, for example. And within the electromagnetic spectrum is infrared. Most of us have heard of infrared.
Yes.
Near infrared is like laser, and middle infrared is like high temperature heat. And then far infrared is a very, very narrow band that a lot of people aren't familiar with, but it has a lot of the same benefits of high temperature heat without the high temperature. It'll increase blood circulation, increase oxygen flow. But again, the problem with emitting far infrared is most of the time you require electricity or high temperature to get far infrared emission in a meaningful way.
Okay.
Our material all gives off far infrared at a very low temperature, which allows you to simply pull one of our products out of your pocket and use it on the spot.
Wow. And so now I see these insoles. These are for pain, or you can stand when you work, you have less pain, or what? How do these work?
They're acupressure insoles that are infused with our active material, Zeta Thermide. Zeta Thermide is this type of material, and what we do is we take it in a powder form and we add it to a liquid rubber, and then we make insoles out of them.
Oh, I see.
They were originally designed for people with diabetic neuropathy, people with very, very serious circulatory problems.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were doing our beta testing last year, we found that anybody just with sore, tired feet would benefit from them.
What's beta testing?
Beta testing is when we put them on several thousand people and measure the responses and make sure that the product does what we want it to do, make sure that the product does what we say it does, and so on.
And this beta testing, is this required by the FDA?
And it sure helps. It sure helps. Beta testing goes a long way when you present it to any governing body. It's nice to be able to validate the fact that you've gone through the process of ensuring that your product does what you say.
Well, that certainly seems important. And so the FDA, let me just repeat this, the FDA has passed on this. That is, they've said this is a legitimate product and you can sell this legally.
It's registered with the FDA. Every single product that we sell is registered with the FDA for either as a medical device for hot and cold therapy. The insoles are actually dually registered as a medical insole and as an acupressure device.
I see. And okay, so let me just, if I can just repeat this. So as it's registered with the FDA, you are allowed to make claims for what the product does.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure. Yes, we can make claims about increased blood circulation. We can make claims about pain reduction. We can make claims about stress reduction. We can make a lot of the claims that typically can't be made by a product that's sold in the natural market using natural technologies.
Right. So right. So I can't say that vitamin C is helpful for a cold. I'm not allowed to make a claim that puts it in a drug category. But these actually are regulated, I guess the way a drug might be regulated, and you can make specific claims to what this Zeta technology does.
That's right.
Well, that's actually very impressive. And so I could wear these all day long, and I put them in my shoes, and they help me.
That's right. They're thin enough to fit over most orthotics, and you just trim to fit. They come in a men's size 14, and you trim them down. So
I'm supposed to cut these down?
Yes, you trim them down. I have a son. He's 10 years old, and they fit his feet just fine. We just trim it down to his size. It's as simple as that.
He's not this big.
He's not that big, not yet. He's not yet.
Well, that's remarkable. Now, what is I have some friends. I'll give a little shout out. They own Eurotex in Ventura. They are a Volvo repair company, and they actually took one of your little Zeta balls there, if that's the correct term, and they put it in some ice, and it melted the ice, and they were very impressed by this.
Yes.
Because they were thinking, oh, this is just hokey dokey, but they were impressed. So how does that work?
Well, it does a couple of things. First of all, it's an amazing conductor. The way that this product operates, it brings in all of the energy it can. It brings in energy from the environment, all the microwaves, all the radio waves, the EMF, the infrared from our bodies, and it converts those frequencies into a frequency that's known to increase blood circulation.
Wow.
That's what it does. It's just a natural converter. It's also an amazing conductor. It brings, by nature of its design, it's able to bring in all of these different energies. So when you put an ice cube on it, it's simply a demonstration of its conductivity and its emission.
You know, this sounds like an important technology.
It certainly is. We're very, very excited about it.
So you have a lot of hope that this will become very, very big, right? Is that it? Just very, everyone can kind of use this. I mean, it's just amazing how people can use this. We're chatting with Jeremy from Zeta Technology Group, and we're going to take a very short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
Hi, this is Lynn Kaufman inviting you to join me every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time for our all-new show, Losing It Live. We'll share all the latest weight loss strategies, food news, tips for the holidays, travel, and we'll even talk about emotional eating. If you've ever tried losing weight and are still struggling, check us out. And if you haven't yet begun the journey to better health, tune in and let us help you. So don't forget to listen and watch us on Losing It Live, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also find us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, I'm Kimberly Russell, a.k.a. K. Russ.
And I'm Julie Richmond, also known as J. Rich, inviting you to join us every Thursday, 12 noon Pacific, for our all-new show, Wova Lounge.
Join us as we discuss thought-provoking topics, have one-on-one interviews, and showcase women
and men
doing their thing. So don't forget to tune in to Wova Lounge every Thursday, 12 noon Pacific.
Exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure.
This right here is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. We are grown and sexy.
Hey, this this is Lady J inviting you to join me every Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. for my all-new show, Lady J's Wild World of Sports. Join me as I highlight all entities associated with sports, from athletes, trainers, referees, and even actors that have portrayed athletes. Okay, so don't forget to tune in to Lady J's Wild World of Sports exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B or watch me on Ustream.tv. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk, okay?
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, and we're speaking with Jeremy from Zeta Technology Group about a new science, quite frankly, a new technology to help heal the body. Now, those of you who are listening on radio are going to miss out on this, but those of you watching us on YouTube and Ustream will notice. Jeremy, tell us about this science experiment you're going to do.
Sure. We have a lot of fun with this. Basically, what happens is when you put ice on some of our clay-based products, the ice melts very rapidly. And it's an anecdotal demonstration, doesn't have a whole lot of meaning in and of itself, but it's a nice way to simplify the technology. It's a nice way to show the conductivity and the gentle emission that these products have to offer.
All right, and Zeta Technologies, again, what's the premise? For people just tuning in, what's the premise of Zeta Technologies?
Zeta Technology develops and manufactures products for stress, pain, fatigue, and other relief.
All right, and this is approved by the Food and Drug Administration.
It's registered by the FDA, yes.
All righty, and so now those of you who are watching this on YouTube or Ustream, Jeremy, please proceed. This is Mr. Science here. Mr. Science, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to put an ice cube on top of a Zeta disc, and it's going to melt the ice very, very rapidly.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are listening on radio, I would like to be your eyes and say that it's melting the ice. It's rather impressive.
It's melting it probably 3 times faster than if you just held the ice cube in your hands. And what it's doing is it's gathering whatever it can gather, the microwaves, the radio waves, the EMF, the infrared from my body, and converting those frequencies into a frequency that behaves sort of like heat.
Well, my friends Albert and Greg up there at Eurotex in Ventura were very impressed, because those are technology guys for sure, and they just could not believe it. And since they're standing on their feet all the time, they need this kind of stuff. That's amazing. So the Zeta Technology, I'll tell you what, why don't you put it on a piece of ice, just leave it there for a second. I'll watch it myself. Just put some ice there on it. Put a lot of ice on it. Cut a couple of big pieces. Oh, that's a good, nice big piece. Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the big piece of ice is obviously starting to melt immediately. It's really, it's impressive. I mean, I'm impressed. I like science.
And it doesn't eat the ball. Check this out.
Okay.
The ball, well, let's see if I can get a good piece of ice here. The ball will actually melt all the way through because it has so much mass, I think. But already it's just...
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. The ball, which is a sphere, has made a little indentation in the ice, and it's obviously melting the ice.
You can see little bubbles rising from underneath the ball in the ice cube. And it may have already melted all the way through.
No, not quite, but close.
Very close.
Well, I think you convinced the entire crew here at LA Talk Live. Here's to Your Health show, but LA Talk Live for sure. I think they were all kind of impressed. And so now, if you have back pain, you can use these discs on the area you have back pain, and it brings relief to the area because of what again? What's the technology?
Well, you can actually use these products in several different ways. The discs can be chilled down very quickly in 10 seconds under an ice cube or in a few minutes in the freezer, and you can use it for cold therapy. If there's swelling or inflammation, they're wonderful. And because they're so small, you can use them if you're in the mall and your elbow flares up, or on the golf course and your elbow flares up. Just throw it under ice for 10 seconds or so, and you've got a cold pack, the world's smallest, most precise cold pack.
Wow. Wow, you guys can really make inroads on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For traditional heat therapy, all you have to do is submerge it in some warm tap water. You can regulate the temperature that you want it by filling up a little glass with tap water, submerge it for the same, maybe 10 seconds, and just
Get close to the microphone, make sure. Yeah.
and just put it where it hurts. And again, only 10 seconds is needed, 15 seconds maybe in tap water. Or at body temperature, it gives off a nice far infrared emission, which is going to have very, very good benefits, help loosen up the muscles, help loosen up the tendons, and accelerate the healing process.
Wow. And so now you have many forms. I see you have a pendant, or necklace rather. Why would I want that?
We we have a pendant and a bracelet, and they're actually registered with the FDA as well. They're actually, I think, the first FDA registered jewelry. And
oh, no kidding.
That's
right.
right.
That's the first. That's amusing. Oh, good for you.
It's truly functional jewelry.
Wow.
And the way that we market it is simply you've got hot or cold therapy at your fingertips at all times. Other people use them for other applications, but that's how we market them because they're FDA registered. It's just a small cold pack that's always with you. If you're in the mall and your elbow's bothering you, it's right there. If your son or daughter falls down on the soccer field, it's always with you. It's always within reach.
Wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. And these little devices with the indentations, the little nubbing, I guess that's the correct term.
Yes, that's right. This is the touchstone, acupressure style touchstone, and it's the same as the ball. It's used for hand therapy and other related purposes. But because it has nodules, it can be used as a massage tool. If you have problems with your foot, for example, you can place it on the ground and roll your foot over it for a very, very nice general massage. It allows you to incorporate far infrared in with the treatment. It's basically for anybody that wants the additional stimulation.
All right, and please, once again, so what's the technology again?
It's a clay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a synthetic clay that we designed that will absorb all of the energy from around us, including energy from our body, and convert those frequencies into a frequency that helps increase blood circulation. And when you increase blood circulation, you increase oxygen flow and accelerate the healing process. It's as simple as that.
And could this technology be incorporated into bandages or casts?
It can, but it's difficult, and we're actually working on that now. There are barriers because, for example, if you try to make the way that we make the insoles is we start off with a liquid rubber, and then we add our material in a powdered form to this liquid rubber, and then we pop out insoles. So the insoles are actually infused with the material. And we can make thread in the same way. We can start off with a liquid nylon, and we can add powder to this liquid nylon and make threads. The problem is the more material we add, the weaker those threads get.
I see.
So the better the product, the faster it's going to fall apart. And that's the challenge that we're trying to overcome right now.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, Jeremy, this actually seems pretty impressive. This seems like very impressive stuff. So I'm assuming that in a couple of years, Walmart and Costco and everyone will have this because this is just like really everyone's using it?
Well, I think it's quite possible. We're hoping that, obviously we're hoping that as many people that can benefit from this do benefit from it. We think that it's a very, very cost-effective technology because it's a type of clay. It's inexpensive enough to get in the hands of everybody.
Well, how much? Can I ask roughly how much are these insoles?
The insoles retail for $20 or $25.
Oh, that seems very reasonable.
It's very reasonable. And not only that, but I've been wearing the same pair since the beta testing 3 years ago. They're indestructible. We have a 10-year warranty.
Oh my
on
goodness!
Them. They do not fall apart.
All
of our products are made with a great deal of integrity. It's not one of those buy it now, buy another one tomorrow. These products are designed to last years.
Are these manufactured in the United States?
Most of the products are manufactured in the United States. All the clay-based products are. The insoles are not. We don't have injection molding equipment, so we make them overseas. We have a traditional hot-cold pack.
Oh, can we show that? Yeah, sure.
And it's 8 inches by 12 inches, and it's infused with the same material, and it simply goes deeper than a traditional heat pack. It's amazing how.
So how do I pop that in the freezer first, or something? What do I do with that?
You can use it for cold therapy. It's registered with the FDA for both hot and cold therapy. For cold therapy, it's just like a standard cold therapy device. There's nothing special about its cold therapy abilities.
Yes.
But when you heat it up, It's wonderful. There isn't another heat pack on the market.
How do I heat it up?
You can heat it up a few minutes in the microwave, or you can boil it.
Like 1 minute in the microwave?
I think it's 2 minutes in the microwave.
And boil it? I could boil it. I wouldn't ruin it?
You won't ruin it. Again, our products are made to last. This product should last years.
And I'd boil it for a minute?
I think 2 minutes you would, let's see, closer to 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. And then I boil it, and then I just put it on my lower back where it hurts or something hurts. That's where I put it?
That's exactly right. Now, if you have trauma, it's always best to talk to a doctor beforehand.
Yes.
But typically, within 72 hours of trauma, you want to use cold therapy.
For the first 72 hours.
Right. And then
Cool.
after that, you want to use heat therapy or maybe alternating hot-cold therapy.
Mhm.
But this product will do all of it.
Wow. Well, I'm imagining that in a couple of years, all the football teams will be using it. Everyone will be using it.
I would think so. There's simply nothing else like it. And we think that it achieves better results than anything that's put out there, anything that's on the mass market, that's for sure.
Well, that's impressive. And Jeremy, where is this Zeta technology? How can we contact you?
You can our website is Zeta Therapy. www.zetatherapy.com.
Zeta spelled how?
Zeta therapy.com. Our phone number is 805-277-9092.
Let me have that once again.
805-277-9092.
Alrighty.
And all of our products are available online. They're available in the majority of the Lassens stores.
They pick you up right away. They're smart.
That's right. And Whole Foods, we're going to start shipping Whole Foods tomorrow.
Alrighty. Whole Foods, when you can get into Whole Foods, you know you got a great product.
Thank you.
That's right. Whole Foods, they're very tough, which is good. And you get into Whole Foods, boy, that's great.
Whole Foods scanned us in record time. We introduced it at the Natural Product Expo West, which was in March, I think. And we had their approval, I think, a week later. It was a very,
that is actually
very
pretty
fast.
impressive. Oh, my goodness.
We were all very surprised.
I guess if they want a product, they really move fast. That's all.
They certainly did.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Okay, we've been chatting with Jeremy from Zeta Technology Group with some very impressive products. And once again, tell me the technology once again. What's the technology?
Sure. We developed a clay that gives off a form of heat without high temperature. It's referred to as soft heat. And all it does is bring in the different energy from around us, the microwaves, radio waves, the infrared from our body, and convert those frequencies into a friendly frequency that is known to increase blood circulation.
Well, you've won me over, Jeremy. You've won me over, really. You've won me over, and it just seems very impressive. And I tell you the truth, I'm actually kind of thrilled. I'm very thrilled that I had you on my show, before you did anybody else. You haven't been on Oprah yet. You haven't been Larry King, because he's off, whatever. Charlie Rose, So, Jeremy, thank you for coming on my show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
That's Jeremy with Zeta Technology Group. Some very impressive products available at Lassens here in Southern California. Shortly to be available at Whole Foods all over the United States. And you're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Good.
Bottled at the source since 1871, Mountain Valley Water is the deepest operating spring in America. This naturally alkaline water, with a perfect blend of minerals, has a crisp, clean taste that's twice been named best tasting water in the world. Mountain Valley Water has been served in the White House for 13 presidents, but it's also served kings including Elvis Presley, whose only requirement on tour was 2 6-packs of Mountain Valley Water. Delivered to your home or office in glass bottles, Mountain Valley Water will give new customers in Southern California their first 2 5-gallon bottles free. For more information, call 1-800-499-9982 or visit us online at www.mountainvalleywaterla.com. Mountain Valley Water is the official sponsor of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane on LA Talk Live.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. 1 capsule once a day is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Miss Margot Hudson and the hottest new love and relationship radio show,
Destination Love Life, where love and wellness come together as one.
Every Monday at 10 a.m.
Join us as we give the latest in love advice,
tips,
interviews,
news,
call-ins,
games,
and giveaways.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream. Use your Android phone, iPhone, iPad, whatever you have, prepaid, BlackBerry, let's do it.
Destination Love Life, every Monday, 10 a.m. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure.
And
we are more than just talk. Health, love, healing, laughter.
The Margot Hudson Way, every Monday, 10 a.m. Ooh, right in your ear hole.
Ooh, Rob, I like your brain.
I've never heard nobody say they want to suck on my intelligence.
Crazy. We'll see you there, everybody.
Hi, this is Olden Polynice, retired NBA player, inviting you to join me for my show, The O Zone, Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am going to be talking about basketball, baseball, hockey, football, you name the sport, we're going to talk about it and dig deep. The O Zone is where the truth lives. So don't forget to tune into the O Zone with Olden Polynice, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. That's the O Zone with Olden Polynice every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. 1 capsule once a day is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
You got it. All righty. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health. We're here with you're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, and I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We've had some marvelous guests today. I'm thrilled. And now we have Charles Hayward, who does reflexology. Charles, please put your microphone on, otherwise it'll be a mime show. That's no good. Okay, very good. Charles, so welcome to Here's to Your Health. Thank you for being a guest.
Thank you very much, Josh.
What exactly is reflexology?
It is the art, science, and study of specific touch techniques that are applied to the feet, hands, and ears to remove stress and allow the body's own energy to flow more freely to promote natural healing.
Alrighty. And so this is called reflexology. Now, this has been around for a long time, has it not?
It's been around for probably thousands of years,
Right.
but the actual term reflexology was coined back in the 1920s. Dr. William Fitzgerald in 1917, and then 1923, Dr. Joe Shelby Riley coined the term reflexology.
What year, 73?
1917.
1917.
Yeah.
1917. Alrighty. And Ness, we have some things on camera here. Are we picking these up, these charts? Okay, so let's just start with the hands first. This is a little a blown up of a diagram, I guess, or a chart you use when you teach.
Yes, so
And,
actually what we're looking at here, Josh, there are over 7,500 nerve endings in the body, and they end in the hands, feet, and ears.
Uh-huh.
So we're looking at the body map of where the nerve endings are in the human hands.
And this is actually pretty well established now, is it? This is this is
Very well established, absolutely.
Okay, so once again, there are nerve endings. How many?
Over 7,500.
And they're in the hands and feet.
And ears.
And ears.
Yes.
Alrighty. So we have left and right palm here. So you can apply various types of pressure. And what can you do for a person who's suffering? What can you do?
So what actually happens is the manual touch technique actually reduces the stress that forms at the end of the nerves. So once that blockage and congestion is reduced and eliminated, it allows for increased circulation. And when I say circulation, this is what I mean. I mean not only blood supply, but nutrient supply, nerve supply, oxygen supply, and energy supply to every organ and gland in the entire body.
Wow. And it's non-invasive?
None.
Right, you don't break the skin?
Not at all.
And you just use what? A fingertip touch? Or
It's mostly done with the thumb,
Mhm.
but definitely the thumb and the additional 3 fingers, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I see that theoretically if I work on the right palm, so if I work on the fingertips, I can, if I have sinus headache or headache at all, you can help me minimize my headache, is that it?
Yes, and understand what you're looking at. There's actually, it works on a 10-zone principle. There are 10 zones in the body, and there are 5 zones in each thumb and 5 zones in each big toe. So zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, zone 1 being the thumb, then the index finger is 2, etc., etc. Zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are vertical zones in the body.
Excuse me, this is somewhat similar to acupuncture, is it not?
Similar, however, acupuncture is slightly different, whereas acupuncture works on a 12 meridian principle. So there are energy channels that flow along these 12 meridians.
And once again, that, when you and I were teenagers, these ideas, people would have said, oh my God, that's just the worst. But now, really, now that we've lived long enough, you and I, These ideas are pretty much mainstream now, are they not?
Very much so.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yes, that's what I would say. Because I can remember acupuncture years ago. People said, "Oh my goodness, it has no merit." And then what was it? Nixon was in China.
That's right.
And was it James Reston or Harrison Salisbury? It was one of those two men writing for the New York Times. They were in China with Nixon, and they suffered from appendicitis attack, and they didn't have time to fly them back to San Francisco, so they operated them on in a Chinese hospital, and they used acupuncture to block the pain.
Yes.
And those men who were like, they were establishment men. They were like powerful men in the news media. And one of them wrote about it, and it made the New York Times, and it wasn't treated as dopiness. It was like, listen, this is what happened to me. I was in China. This worked. That was a very big step forward. I remember that.
Well, 4,000-year-old ancient Chinese medicine, and there must be something to it.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And so, to some extent, there is some overlap.
Yes, there is.
There's some overlap on the acupuncture and then the foot reflexology. But, of course, the advantage of reflexology is you don't have to break the skin.
Right. And anything I work in one of the zones works that entire zone throughout the whole body.
Right.
So I'm working in zone 3, which is the third finger, the largest finger. Everything, it works in that zone vertically throughout the entire body.
All right. And so, it's again, based on your science, the science you study and teach, there are 10 zones. And so if a person is just a business guy's tired, you could like work on his own and kind of perk him up. Is that it?
Exactly. It's an extraordinary benefit because it has the ability to be both relaxing, stress relieving, and energizing. Because once you reduce that stress and the body's circulation starts to increase, the person starts to become more energized.
And so, okay, let's say someone, let's first do headache. An individual, male, female, adult, has headache. What technique can you do? Where do you press?
I work what's called the head neck region.
Mm-hmm.
There are horizontal zones in the body in reflexology. So I work the head neck region, which is really the thumb, which is the head. As the thumb bends, that is the neck. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so I work that, and then I work all the fingers, because that's all the head neck region of the body, the horizontal region of the body, the fingers.
Okay, that's very delightful. So the head is the top of the thumb, and the neck is clear at the base of the thumb.
Yeah, where it bends.
Oh, I just love that. That's fantastic. I like that a lot.
And the spine is that goes right down the side of the thumb here.
All righty. We're chatting with Charles, who does reflexology. And before we give you the cure, we're going to make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Charles Hayward after these important messages.
Meet Betsy. She is 29 years old and lives in Los Angeles. Recently, Betsy sent her father an email that brought tears of joy to his eyes. You see, Betsy suffers from autism, and this was the first email she had ever sent to anyone. Betsy is just one of the many students at Empower Tech, a nonprofit organization in Los Angeles that trains persons living with a broad range of physical, cognitive, and developmental disabilities how to use computers to do the things that so many of us take for granted: email, online banking, research, and entertainment. Through modern assistive technology, instructors at Empower Tech help hundreds of people just like Betsy every year. They teach them the basic skills required to function independently in 21st century society. But with new state budget cuts, all of that could change. Empower Tech needs your help if it's going to continue making a difference here in our community. Please visit www.empowertech.org. That's www.empowertech.org to make a secure, tax-deductible contribution, and to learn more about this important community resource, and to see for yourself what some of the amazing students and teachers do on a daily basis. Betsy and the 1.8 million people living with disabilities in Los Angeles County, thank you for caring enough to show your support.
Mountain Valley Spring Water, since 1871, has been bottled at the source in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Twice named the best tasting water in the world, Mountain Valley water is naturally alkaline and bottled in glass, providing the perfect blend of nature's minerals, giving you a crisp, clean taste. To start your home and office delivery in Southern California, call us at 1-800-499-9982 or visit us online at www.mountainvalleywaterla.com. New customers will receive their first 2 5-gallon bottles free. Mountain Valley Water, the official sponsor of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane on LA Talk Live.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. 1 capsule, once a day, is all you need. When joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane. Charles Hayward is here, and he's a certified reflexologist. And he's going to be working on our stunt woman today. We brought in a stunt woman, and Lexi. And Charles, please tell us what you're going to be doing.
Well, the first thing I do is I tell the person to relax. Please take a deep breath. Lexi, in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Good. I'm going to grab her hand. No. You tell it to relax. I move it, you don't move it. Okay? Yeah, that's relaxed. Okay, that's relaxed. That's relaxed. Keep it relaxed. Okay, good. Okay. Take that deep breath again, in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Relax your arm. Good. Relax your arm. Good. So what I'm doing now, I'm warming up the hand. I'm getting my touch used to her muscle tone.
Are we catching this on camera? Could we get it on camera? Nice.
Okay, relax. Okay, good. Okay. Just sort of warming things up here. Then what I do, I use a technique, a finger technique. Actually, it's an Ayurvedic technique where I work the individual fingers, flexing and rotating the fingers, throwing away the tired energy, loosening up the joints, flickering the energy off, tired energy. And now I start to do the reflexology. Right now I'm working on her head area. As I move down her head, I work on her neck area. And I'm also working on the spine as well, which flows right from the tip of the thumb right down to the wrist.
Good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. We have a caller? Okay, hi, this is Josh. You're reaching Here's to Your Health. Have you got a comment? Hello? I guess they didn't want to be on the air. Well, thank you for calling anyway.
Now I work from the wrist all the way up to the base of the fingers. So I go to all 4 of the fingers. I work in between the fingers, up through the palms of the hand. Of the wrist, that means I'm working the entire center of the body.
Lexi, do you feel anything? Does it feel nice or just?
Yeah, it feels good.
Can you feel it on your neck or your back or anything?
I feel like this kind of weird, like, relaxation like going on in my lower back area.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
And then my whole, like, this hand's starting to feel a little weird. On this side, though. Just really weird.
So I work the lower abdominal area. I work across the palm of the hand, the lower part of the hand, to the wrist area, into the wrist.
So Charles, you're doing, this is reflexology. This is what you do when you do appointments with people.
Yes, I call it world-class reflexology because of the techniques that I've studied and learned over the past 11 years. Allows me to employ a variety of different techniques, from energy techniques to the different modalities that are used in different parts of the world. The back of the hand, this is where the lymphatic system is here.
Lymphatic system being the garbage man of the body.
It pulls the toxins away from the body. Extremely important.
So by massaging lymphatic system, you are promoting just healing in general.
Yes, and good toxin release as well in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Then I work the individual
Any
finger.
pain, Lexi? No pain?
No, I totally just felt that on the other side of my hand.
Yeah.
Maybe
there.
I'm tripping.
I can work her left hand by touching her right hand. In addition to working her right hand. There are microsystems in the body. There are redundant systems in the body. There was a wonderful intelligence that made us that really knew what it was doing. It's really quite extraordinary.
Now, of course, are you 20 yet? How old are you, can I ask?
22.
22. So a very young girl, young woman in good health. So you don't feel much crystals in her body, right? I mean, she doesn't have a lot of blockage, correct?
That's true, and it feels like she drinks plenty of water.
Hopefully a clean liver day, because
A lot of Mountain Valley water.
That's right. Charles can tell. That's right. Mountain Valley water. Charles can tell. Thank you very much for the plug. Thank you very much.
Now, as I finish, I pull each individual finger, once again flicking the energy off, the tired energy off each individual finger. All 4 fingers, including the thumb, and once again, then I sweep the hand, flicking the tired energy off, both the front of the hand, palm of the hand, the back of the hand. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Very relaxed. He's very relaxed now.
Good.
Okay, that's good. Charles, thank you very much. Thank you. Lexi, thank you very much. Thank you for being a good sport. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so Charles,
should never be the same.
What you just did was you worked on one on the right hand, and can you give an assessment of the client based on working on the hand?
Well, let me say this, Josh. There are 5 things that a reflexologist does not do.
Right.
Number 1, we don't diagnose.
Yes. Okay.
We don't do prognosis.
Okay.
We don't change medications. We don't treat specific illnesses, and we don't cause harm.
And therefore we don't go to jail.
Right, exactly.
It's very, very fair.
You know, we don't. There's a line we don't cross. We honor and respect
That's
the
very. Thank you for pointing that. Thank you. I'm sorry to be flipped there. Okay.
But over the years, you know, you're able to pick up and sense certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, her skin is very hydrated, very moist. She's a young lady. So I didn't feel anything underneath her skin tissues. I didn't feel any toxins because I'm able to sense and feel those things. I can feel when there's a lot of stress.
If you're working with an older person, say with arthritic problems,
yes,
can you theoretically feel what is sometimes just called crystals in the toes or the fingers? You can feel that.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, underneath the skin.
And you can theoretically help a patient by bringing circulation to the area, and if nothing else, offer them a little bit of relief. Not that you can't cure anything, but you can offer them some relief.
A great deal of relief, and then I encourage them to hydrate. Be sure and drink an abundance of good, clean, healthy water to flush those toxins that are trapped in the tissues.
And for headache, where do you work for headache?
It is extremely good for headaches and migraines. I actually was giving a demonstration some years ago in Sacramento, California, and I worked on a lady's hand, one hand. I did about 7-8 minutes on one hand, and she told me that her migraine was gone. And I said, well, I didn't know you had a migraine. She says, not anymore. So I didn't even know. It works very fast and it's very powerful.
Do you work on the bowel area for migraine?
No, I really work the head, neck, back area to reduce the stress and tension that builds up here. which is really the cause of migraines. Stress and tension, restricted circulation brings on a migraine.
Wow, that sounds impressive. That sounds impressive. Okay, so you work on the hands and the feet. Is this bowels right here?
Well, it is. This actually is called the big web. Right in here, there's a bundle of
What's it
nerves.
called? What's that called?
The big web.
Big web. Okay.
There's a bundle of nerves that are in here, and there's also a map here where it is the large intestines. Right in there as well. But at the same time, if you look at the map, the big map, your large intestines is all in here as well. All on the outside of the palm of the hand is the large intestine. The small intestine, of course, is all in here. Exactly.
It really does make perfect sense that there'll be nerve endings in the hand and feet, and it's really about time that mainstream science has come to recognize this and not, snicker and realize, oh yes, the body is very subtle, and the body has great ways to heal itself that are non-invasive. I mean, with intelligent education and technique to work on the body.
Yes. If a person has good hydration in their lifestyle and a good diet, good nutrition, and once this stress is relieved, the body comes back into balance. The person feels better, the body functions better, and there's a blissful sense of well-being that they experience after a session from me.
Well, and Charles, how can people contact you?
Well, I work in West Los Angeles with Dr. Neil Snyder. I work out of his office in West Los Angeles near Olympic and Sawtelle. And I have a website.
Please.
My website is reflexologyla.com.
That's pretty easy. And could you spell that for us?
reflexologyla.com.
Okay.
So I do three things. I work out of the office. I see my home visit clients, and I do outside events. I do health fairs, expos, corporate events, private parties, and the like.
And before you run off, so and for sinuses, could you tell us the technique?
Oh, yes. Very important. The sinuses, once again, both in the hands and the feet, I work the tips of the hands.
Could you work on a stunt woman? Show us
I work on the tips of the hands for sinuses and the tips of the toes. So this is the head area here.
Does that hurt, Lexi? No.
Okay. Relax your head. Thank you. And so it's good. What's interesting is also the brain area as well. So I'm working on the tips here, which is the sinus area. And I've had people that...
You seem to have very good technique.
Thank you. I've had people that have sinus congestion, stopped up noses, and within 2 or 3 minutes after I work on them, their nostrils open up, they can breathe better. So
And so you could really work with sports teams, too. You could really kind of help them, couldn't you?
Yes, absolutely. Once again, that stress is reduced. They feel more relaxed. They've got better circulation, better energy flow. They can perform better.
And who was it years ago who had a book that was popular? Was it Eunice Ingham on reflexology?
That is correct. As a matter of fact, Eunice, it is said that Eunice might have been the person that coined the term reflexology, because she started Ingham schools of reflexology throughout the country. Right. And this was in 1923. She worked with a doctor called Dr. Joe Shelby Riley. Yeah, the doctor got credit for that, of course.
It happens.
Right.
It does happen, really.
Yeah, he wrote a book called Zone Reflex, and thus from there was born the term reflexology.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good science. Marches on here. So for those of you who are listening and not actually watching us on YouTube or Ustream, Charles Hayward is a reflexologist here in Los Angeles, working on our stunt woman successfully. And you're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with more health information. Thanks for tuning in.
For more information about the guests and sponsors of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, please call us at 818-707-0005.